clearly shows the source of the profit of using tax expense surprise. So this is another regression analysis. So this is all y. So in different line we have different y, and they are x variable, and they investigate whether x explains y, whether those things can explain this one, or this thing can explain this one. Let's take a look at this one. So our key variable of the key interest is this one, tax expense surprise. We can find that tax expense surprise predicts future earnings surprise. So it is Q. So Q is this quarter's information, and this is the information next quarter. So at the time of Q, this one is not available. But this one tells us that when we look at the past data, it says a very interesting pattern. If there is a tax expense surprise today, there is a significant relationship with future earnings surprise. So today's tax expense surprise predict future 1 quarter later earnings surprise. So that is good, right? So this one contains information about future earnings surprise. So this one number in this parenthesis is called t-value, and as I explained, if we use t-value, if t-value is greater than 2, we usually regard it as strong, statistically significant. It is 16.82, almost 17, so it is very, very strong. It is significant at like 0, significant at like 0%. With 0% probability, this one we can reject the hypothesis that this one is insignificant. Okay. Another interesting part is that today's earnings surprise can predict, actually the coefficient is larger, it is 0.16 and 0.27. So today's earnings surprise can predict next quarter's earnings surprise. So there is a serial correlation between earnings surprise. That's a bit intuitive, but again, the interesting part is that in this equation, in this regression relationship, we include both T and E, both tax expense and earnings surprise. So this coefficient is in some sense pure effect. I mean, pure in the sense that it is additional effects of tax expense surprise after we take into account the effect of this earnings surprise. So we have this one. So this one explains this one, this amount, and this one explains this amount. So if we didn't include this one over here, and if we run regression only this one, then this one relationship, this one and this one may include part of this part. But since we include both variables in the regression, it means that this coefficient for delta t is the delta t effect only, at least effect orthogonal to the earnings surprise effect. So it again shows that tax expense surprise include additional information that earnings surprise doesn't include. Okay, more information than earnings surprise, additional information than earnings surprise. So that's interesting part. And then another one is it is the return. So ARET, I forget, ARET, earnings announcement return. Earnings announcement return. Earnings announcement return. How they measure earnings announcement? It is measured as low return minus valuation market return over 3-day period. Okay, this is another interesting part. So when there is earnings surprise, stock price, one irregularity in finance accounting literature is that when there is earnings surprises, then there is a drift in stock return. If market is efficient, there is earnings surprise, stock price instantly updates that information and should jump. But in reality, the market is not that efficient. If there is a good news like earnings surprise, stock price jump, but not perfectly. Jump and still move up, stock return move up in the predictable way. Not jump and flat. So if market is efficient, stock price jump and something like this. But since market is not perfectly efficient, stock price jump like halfway and then drift up. So there is a predictable component. And this one is about that jump part, predictable component, from -1 to 1. Okay, so actually before event and after event. So if market is efficient again, so if market is efficient, then stock price move like this. This is the moment of earnings surprise. Earnings surprise. But since market is not efficient, stock price move like there is some information leakage. So there is some guys who know that there will be earnings surprise or predict earnings surprise, so they move beforehand. Okay, and there is a jump, but not perfectly jump, so move like this. So there is a like something like minus day 1, 0, and plus 1, something like that. So there is a predictable components before and after the event. This happens because the market is not perfectly efficient. And this one, the return from -1 plus 1 actually is this one. So they measure like earnings surprise. So like size of the response of the stock price against the earnings surprise. So this is also another interesting part is that when there is a tax expense surprise, then we have a statistically significant relationship that if there is a tax expense surprise, then this slope is sharper, actually so larger, and there is more jump. It means that even if there is the same earnings surprise in future, if there was a tax expense surprise, that earnings surprise is actually good, better earnings surprise that generate higher stock jump. Okay, so it means that tax expense surprise they have some information about very core profitability, which is sustainable. And this result remain hold again after we take into account earnings surprise today. Interesting, this one is insignificant, right? It is less than 2. So today's earnings surprise is insignificant in explain. Tomorrow's 1 quarter later, stock price jumps after earnings surprise. But today's tax surprise can have a predictive power of the stock return jump after tomorrow's 1 quarter later earnings surprise. So this is very interesting news. So in some sense, tax expense surprise today include maybe more information than earnings expense surprise, earnings surprise. And this is another one, another interesting one. This is tax expense surprise in future. Tax expense surprise 1 quarter later. So today's tax expense surprise can predict tomorrow's tax expense surprise. So it means that tax expense surprise has some consistent part. If it has about information about core profitability, then maybe, so that's why maybe tax expense surprise includes information on core profitability, because core profitability is a persistent part of the profitability. So if there is tax expense surprise, then tomorrow there should be tax expense surprise as well, possible, because there is a surprise in core profitability. Okay. And then today's earnings surprise also has some predictive power about tomorrow's tax expense surprise. And this is something we know. This is earnings. This is a return from today to next quarter. So if there is a positive tax expense surprise, then if we invest $1 today, then for the next 3 months, it means that we can make money. Okay, so this is interesting part. And then another interesting part is the earnings surprise. This one does not hold. This one's surprise. So after we take into account the tax expense surprise, earnings surprise, if we actually earnings surprise is actually doesn't include any information about future return. So this is the interesting part. Okay. So if there is a tax expense surprise, but suppose there is a conflicting information about tax expense surprise and an earnings surprise, then it means we should believe tax expense surprise. Okay. Suppose there is a tax expense surprise, but there is a negative earnings surprise, then may you wonder, okay, top firm is losing money, possibly top firm pay surprise more tax, then which one you should follow? This regulation result means that you have to follow tax expense surprise. You should believe less the earnings surprise. Okay. So this is interesting. And this is same, okay, same. This is, yeah, like that. And then this one is another interesting part is that for the last two equations, we take into account, future earnings surprise. So at the time of, today, if we do the regression, we cannot control this part because it is information available in the future. But for the sake of analysis, we can include this future information about today. So there is no wonder that future earnings surprise can generate future high return. So this part is, this one is significant, and this one is, this one is not surprising. It is not surprising because if a firm make a lot of money, then surprisingly more money, then stock return should increase. So this is not surprising. So it is future and future. But interesting part is that even if we take into account that future earnings shock, still today's tax expense surprise can predict future stock return, even after we controlling for this future earnings surprise. So this is very interesting. Today's tax expense surprise include information beyond the information included in today's earnings surprise and the information included in future earnings surprise. Right? So this is very surprising result in some sense. Right? So this is I think, very interesting regulation. This regulation shows in very clean way why everyone should care for tax. Everyone should analyze how much of pays tax in order to invest that particular company. So this is very interesting pattern. And next one is again future response to future earnings surprise, and then the result is almost similar. Okay, still tax expense surprise can predict the future response of the stock price to earnings surprise, even after we controlling for the earnings surprise today and earnings surprise tomorrow. So it is another strong result. So it means that tax expense surprise really includes some additional information that, in some sense, tax information from tax accounting includes some information that ordinary financial accounting information doesn't include. Okay, any question? So this is an interesting argument, so let's read it. In sum, the results in table 5 are consistent with our explanation for why investors do not immediately appreciate the full implication of a current period tax expense surprise. We find support for two potential channels by which information contained in current period tax expense surprise is reflected in the delay in subsequent stock return. So they again highlight two potential channels that link today's tax expense surprise to future stock return. Okay, channel 1 is that tax expense surprise predicts next quarter's earnings surprise, which is positively related to next quarter return. As a result, that information reflected in stock prices when future earnings are revealed to the market. The second channel is the tax expense surprise predicts next quarter's tax expense surprise, which is again incrementally positively related to the next quarter return beyond the information reflected in next quarter's earnings surprise. See? Yeah, beyond the information contained in next quarter's earnings surprise, this part. Yes. Evidence consistent with the second channel reinforces our hypothesis that tax expense surprise is proxy for fundamental profitability. So sustainable profitability. And it contains information about fundamental profitability incremental to that contained in reported earnings. So it means you have to study tax accounting if you want to become a stock analyst. Okay. If you want to work for like asset management firm, in stock security firm, brokerage firm, and if you want to work in research team, it means that you have to know tax, you have to study tax accounting. This one is interesting robustness check, but let's skip this. Tax expense momentum across fiscal quarter. Let's skip this. Okay, this is I think interesting one. And then they did additional analysis that whether tax expense momentum is relationship between tax expense surprise and the earnings surprise. Does the tax expense momentum vary by firm size? One way to distinguish whether the documented anomaly are, documented anomalies is that the anomaly they found, the relationship between today's tax expense surprise and tomorrow's tax return. So this is anomaly. Okay, this is against the efficient market hypothesis. And now they argue that their result is lowest to the firm size, and then are due to market mispricing is to investigate if we observe the mispricing is greater when information uncertainty limits to arbitrage is greater. Okay, so this is so they want to check. Their argument is that the relationship they find is about mispricing. And if this is truly about mispricing, there is maybe alternative possibility that people may argue that this is not because of mispricing, maybe because of firms with tax expense momentum. Those firms are maybe harder to trade in the market. So it is not hard. They are maybe very difficult to trade, and therefore market price is not perfect in some sense. This is different story about the efficient market hypothesis. So maybe some people ask that. Some people make such a counter argument, and in order to address such a counter argument, they argue that okay, our story is based on market mispricing, and if it is consistent, if this pattern arises because of market pricing, then the pattern they found should be observed in more stronger way. In the stock with high uncertainty and high stock, those stock that very difficult to do arbitrage, very difficult to take arbitrage position. Right? Is it logical? So anyway, it is the story, and they are checking that possibility, and they find that hedge portfolio return for earnings surprise are highest for small firm and lowest for large firm. More relevant to this study, we find that hedge portfolio return for tax expense surprise and residual tail follow the same pattern. This is consistent anomaly document being due to mispricing and inconsistent risk-based explanation. So they again find that okay. So they did not document the result, but they find that in small firm, their finding is actually stronger. In small firm, today's tax expense surprise have even higher future stock return. And if a firm size is big, today's earnings surprise still predicts tomorrow's future return, tomorrow's stock price, but the relationship is weaker. Which means this result is consistent with their inefficient market story, because for small stock, the information is fewer number of stock analysts follow those stocks, and people are less interested, so there are more possibility of mispricing for small stock, and their finding is stronger in small stock. So it means that their finding is strongly related to mispricing. Okay, does it make sense? Any question? Yeah, Tusa, any, do you know what I'm saying? Okay, good, very good. Any question? No. Okay, so let's conclude the paper. Yes, yeah, conclusion is short, so you can read it. Yeah, okay. So this is the end of the resource. This tells the importance of tax accounting. So for business student, please study tax accounting as well, whenever you have opportunity. Yes, Kevin.
Do you not see the table of contents in your timetable? Because then you can see it.
Table of contents is not necessary, not required. Usually in academic papers, in the articles, we don't include. In books, we have a table of contents, but for articles, we don't. Or actually, not some journals include table of contents, like a law journal, like Harvard Law Review, something like that, like law review journals, law, legal papers, law academic papers, and those papers are usually very long. You know, the legal people, they like writing and speaking. And so even in their academic paper, they have a very long paper, like very long, 50 pages and 60 pages. So in that case, maybe they need table of contents. But for finance papers, they are usually less than like 20 pages or something like that. So we don't need table of contents therefore. Right.
Actually, I can understand what the tax expense, why tax expense surprise happen, because people cannot predict the earning.
Your question is why tax expense surprise happen? Can anyone answer that? Actually, I implied. I did not directly discuss about that, but in this paper, there is a lot of implication that can answer Kyungjin's question. Okay. Why tax expense surprise happen? Why? Again, in this paper, what is the key message of this paper? The key message of this paper is that tax expense surprise or tax expense contain information. Okay, a lot of information actually. It can contain two sorts of information roughly. It contains information that earnings information include, and then additional, another extra information that earning surprise doesn't include, right? Of course, tax expense surprise can happen when there is earning surprise. There is one possibility, right? If a firm makes surprisingly more money, then they have to pay surprisingly more tax. That is one obvious reason, right? And then, of course, the question is why there is earning surprise from the beginning. Well, there is always earning surprise, right? I mean, the world is full of surprise, but and then therefore, we would be surprised if there is no earning surprise in the market, right? Because there is always uncertainty and there is always news and something like that. So anyway, no earning surprise naturally occurs. People can be wrong about their projection of the earnings of the particular company. Therefore, earning surprise can always happen. Therefore, when earning surprise happens, then tax expense surprise should happen too. And another possibility, another key intuition about this paper is that tax expense surprise information contain the information about the core profitability of the company. So it means that if there is a surprise in the core profitability or sustainable part of that company, like innovation or the business model, something like that, then there will be tax expense surprise as well. So again, two possibilities of why tax expense surprise happens. First, because there is earning surprise. Second, because there is a shock to the core profitability of the particular company. Yeah, any other question? Good. Then let's move to another next one. Another next one about market inefficiency and about trading. Next paper I want to introduce is about informed trading. The next paper I want to introduce is that in that paper they compare the performance of the two stock account. Account one, which is held by children's account. Children can make account. My son is 5th grade in elementary school, and my second son is still in kindergarten. They have a stock account, and in that paper they compare the performance of the stock account for children and stock account for adult, and they compare the performance. What is your guess? Which one should perform better? Adults. Why? They have a better education. Yes, I mean, if children is better at trading, then why are you here? Point is, all this education is useless, right? But surprisingly, in their paper, they find that children account is better. The return or the performance. So if they have account level information, they can keep track of the performance. Okay, they have this stock. They bought this stock 1 year ago, and this price of this stock is today is something like that. So they can keep track of the performance of their stock account, and they find surprising that children account is better than adult account. I mean, this is very weird, right? Then, I mean, yeah, that's a very gloomy news even for the people like me. All finance professors should be gloomy about it. Yes, Kevin.
Maybe it's because children or adults like to gamble more than children.
Also, it means the adults are more stupid in some sense. Yeah, yeah. Children don't go casino and lose money, but adults go to casino and lose a lot of money. Yeah, then all the purpose of this finance education is to make guys like you more like children or something like that. Okay, so yeah, old people are stubborn. Still, they are stupid, right, in some sense. So there is one possibility why children are counted better. Probability 1. Adults are more stupid. Okay? There is one probability. Is there any one possibility? Is there any other possibility? Yeah.
I think if the market is bullish,
Uh-huh.
I think the more possibility of the children to get more gains because I think they pick the stock items randomly. So if the market is decreasing, I think the more possibility to they get they lose. I think more possibilities to lose.
Okay. So let's think about it. If somebody, okay, somebody made more money than I in stock market, then what would be the possibility? So there is person A and person B, and person B performance is much better in the stock market, and maybe we can ask why person B is better than person A in stock trading. Why? What would be a possible explanation? Maybe A is smarter. Maybe they have a better grade in financial cases research classes, something like that. So they have more finance knowledge. And what would be the another possibility? Okay, luck. Luck is a second possibility. So intelligence, luck, which is another possibility. Information, right? Same luck, same intelligence, but maybe if some guy have more information, then they will make more money, right? Yeah, so maybe three possibilities: log, intelligence, information. And children account is better than adult account, maybe because log, information, and intelligence. We can rule out the log part because we have a huge number of data. In this case, they analyze. If they compare only like 10 account or something like that, then they are subject to log. But since they analyze a huge number of account, then because of law of large numbers, log is 0 on average, right? Log is 0 on average, so we can get rid of log part. So possible story is either intelligence or information. Children account is more intelligent or children account is more informative. So there are two possibilities. And both of you, Kevin and then Hyungbin, told that you are not Hyungbin. Yeah, Hyunwoo. Yeah. Kevin and Hyunwoo story is based on the intelligence, right? Is there any possibility that children account is more informative? Children account is possibly more intelligent, but is there another possibility that children account is more informative? So in this paper, actually this one is a bit maybe obvious in some sense that they show that children account is better, and they argue that of course we can observe trading flows, trading activity in children account, but do you really believe children do the trading? Suppose my son's account, kindergarten account, my son is in kindergarten. If he is very good at stock picking, obviously, in some time, let's assume that in his accounting, stock picking is very good, then do you really believe that my son at the kindergarten is really good at stock picking? No, right? So, I mean, children account is good, and then the likely plausible explanation would be, well, maybe the trading activities of the children account is not generated by children, but generated by their guardians, right? That would be the more plausible story, right? Then the game between children account and adult account is really the game between guardians of children account and the ordinary adult, right? And then story says that then guardians of the children account is better at usual ordinary adult. That's the real story, right? Then we can ask the question again, whether the guardians of the children account, basically parents, right? Parents versus ordinary adult. And they say that parents are better stock picker. They are better, not stock picker, that's the, should be used in different manner. They are better stock investor. And again, there is two possibilities. Guardians of children account is maybe more intelligent or maybe more informative than the people on the adult account. Which would be the more plausible story?
I think there can be another factor is attitude.
Attitude?
Yeah, I mean, if the guardians help the children to pick it up, then they're more focused on the sustainability, because the children when they will grow more, so not the instant information, but valuation based on valuation.
Yes, but anyway, the paper says that the performance of the children account is good, right? So it means that they have a better trading strategy, either based on information or based on their intelligence. I mean, attitude, I don't know. Attitude, this sounds to me like a trading strategy. Maybe the investment style can be different. For children account, maybe it's more long-term investment. And then for huge adult account, maybe it's for short-term account, short-term investment. Also maybe there's difference in style, but still, I mean, everyone, regardless of the style, everyone wants good performance, right? Why should style matter? They just simply want to make more money And that's the purpose of the stock investment. Okay. And in the story, they says that both of them is right. It is maybe because of both more information and more intelligence. But this paper argued that possibly it is because of both intelligence and information can explain why children are going to perform better. Both of them. But this paper, as this title indicates, this paper has more emphasis on the information story of the children account. Then can you guess, okay, before I show you the paper, can you guess why on earth children account should be possibly is more informative than adult account? Why the guardians of the children account undertake more informed trading than those in adult account? What would be the possible explanation? Why children account contain more information? Yes.
Maybe because the parents of these children may have job in finance or
Oh yes.
and the average
Yeah.
trader maybe doesn't.
There is possibly one story. Yeah. I mean, there is an interesting story. I mean, because suppose a parent made a children account for their children. It means that those parents have a great interest in finance, right? They bother to make account for their own children. It means that they have some more knowledge or interest in finance. Maybe working in finance sector. Maybe took a lot of finance class in their universities, possibly. It means, yeah, there is one possibility, okay? But it is about intelligence, story about intelligence, right? If they learn more classes and then, information story is that some people have some information that other people don't have. And your story is some people are smarter than others because more intelligent, financially intelligent than others because they were possibly working in finance. Yeah. Yeah, because they work in finance sector and therefore they have more private information. That's one probable story. That's good story actually. Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure. I forgot, but I'm not sure whether they have information about the guardians of the job of the guardians of the children account. I don't know. Yeah, we will figure it out. And what would be the another possible story, possible explanation of why children account is more informative? Any other guess?
It might be more objective.
More.
Objective.
What does that mean?
Like they do not think like they don't have biases.
They don't have bias.
Yeah,
Why they don't have bias?
they do not have.
Why they do not have bias?
I think that children usually think more like they do not think with their feelings, so they
Yeah. Yeah, but again,
and they focus more on certain information, not
yes, that's
on
the
suppositions.
yes, there's possible. There's a story. Actually, there is a test that there is one side. There's a monkey pick or stocks. There are a lot of maybe there is a like stock ID in different bananas maybe, and monkey pick banana, and there's the possible stock picking, and another is compare stock picking of the monkey with the fund managers, and they find monkey is better than fund manager. Obviously, monkey doesn't have any bias, something like that. So, actually, yes, there is research like that. But in this paper, again, the activity of the children account is not generated by children. Children trade in their account. Actually, parents do the trading. Parents, not children. Children account is better than usual adult account because parents of the children do the trading for the sake of their children, and maybe the parents have more information or more intelligent. And this paper focuses the more information story. And the reason is that, one possible reason is that, suppose you have children, and suppose you have some private information that other people don't know, then maybe you want to hide your trade. You want to maybe camouflage your trade, right? If you do the trading with your account, maybe other people observe your behavior. So this guy has some private information and suspicious of you, possibly. If people begin to become suspicious about you, and maybe you will possibly in trouble, possibly legally in trouble, or another possibility is that people don't want to trade with you, possibly. If you are an informed trader, I mean, think about it. If you are smart and good trader, let me use another example. Suppose you go to casino, and suppose you have another information about, suppose you have extra information about the casino, such that, like in blackjack table, for example, you have extra information such that you can read, you can tell the card looking at the back of the card. So maybe you can use some strange smart lens or strange glasses so that you can see through what kind of card other people hold. In that case, you have extra information, right? And then if you have that kind of glass, do you think you want to hide the fact that you have that strange, smart, intelligent glasses, or you want to reveal that you have those glasses? Naturally, you want to hide that you have this powerful glasses, right? Because first, of course, it is illegal to use smart glass that sees through the card. First, it is illegal. Second thing is that once people know that you have the glass that can read through their own card, people will not play card with you anymore, right? Because they will lose, right? Is it? No one will want to play card with someone who have a powerful glass which can see through your own card, right? No one. Exactly same thing hold in the stock market. If people know that you are smart, if people know that you have sophisticated, good information about stock, people will not trade with you. Because suppose Kevin is very smart, and Kevin one day visit me that, oh, I have a wonderful stock, so do you want to buy the stock from me? Then should I buy? No, because I know Kevin is smart, and Kevin wants to sell his stock to me. It means that stock is bad, right? Then I don't buy it. And one day, Kevin dropped by my house again, and I want to buy some stock from you. Then do I have to sell? Do you think I want to sell those stock to Kevin? No, because I know Kevin is smart, and Kevin wants to buy stock from me. It means that the stock I have is good, right? So it means that if people is smart and intelligent or informative, that people should camouflage his identity. If Kevin wants to trade with me, Kevin should hire like Laura, okay, to visit my office for the sake of it. Okay, please go to Professor Kang's office and buy those stuff for me, something like that. Okay, camouflage his identity. So children account can be used in that way to camouflage the true identity of the trader. So anyway, this paper has two possibilities of why children account is better, because children account is more intelligent, or second, children account is more information, and both of the theories right in their paper, but they find a stronger result for the information story. Okay. I think this time is up, so we can go to deeper. We can read through this paper from actually next Wednesday. Okay, thank you, and see you next Wednesday.